On my wedding day, I walked down the aisle alone. 200 seats were set. Flowers were perfect. Music was playing exactly how I imagined. But the people who were supposed to be there the most? They never showed up. Not my parents. Not my relatives. Not even my own sister. At first, I thought something had gone wrong. A delay. A mix-up. Maybe traffic. I kept looking at the entrance, waiting for the doors to open. But they never did. And then, my phone buzzed. One notification. Then another. And another. Photos. Videos. Laughter. I opened one, and my heart just dropped. My entire family was at my sister's party. Dancing. Smiling. Celebrating like it was the most important night of their lives. While I stood there, in my wedding dress, completely alone. The caption on her post said, "Best night ever, Red Heart." That's when I realized the truth. They didn't forget my wedding. They chose not to come. They chose her over me. And in that moment, something inside me broke. But what they didn't know was, I wasn't going to beg for their love anymore. Because what I did next turned the day they ruined into something they would never forget. Growing up, my sister was always the center of everything. If she walked into a room, all eyes went to her. If she wanted something, it happened. If she made a mistake, there was always an excuse ready. And me? I learned very early how to stay in the background. Not because I wanted to, but because that's where I was placed. Birthdays were always bigger for her. Celebrations always louder. Attention always easier. I remember one year I got straight A's. I was so proud. I thought maybe, just maybe, this time would be different. But that same week, my sister failed 2 classes. And suddenly, the entire house revolved around making her feel better. My achievement? It disappeared. Just like that. And moments like that didn't happen once. They happened over and over again. So eventually, I stopped expecting anything. I stopped competing. Stopped comparing. Stopped asking to be seen. Because no matter what I did, she was always going to come first. My parents never said it directly. But they didn't have to. Their actions made it clear. If she had a bad day, everything stopped. If I had a bad day, I was told to handle it. And I did. I handled everything on my own. School. Decisions. Emotions. I became independent, not by choice, but by necessity. And over time, I built this quiet belief inside me. If I wanted something in life, I would have to earn it myself. No shortcuts. No support. No safety net. So when I started building my own future, I didn't expect help. But I did expect one thing. That when the most important day of my life came, they would finally show up for me. Just once. Just this one time. I thought I would matter. But I should have known better. The moment I told my family my wedding date, something felt off. At first, they smiled. Congratulated me. Acted excited. But it didn't feel real. It felt forced. Like they were already distracted. Then my sister spoke up. "Oh, that's the same weekend as my party." I paused. "Party?" I asked. She nodded, completely casual. "Yeah, my birthday party. I've been planning it for months." I waited for anyone, to say the obvious. That my wedding would come first. That her party could be moved. But no one said it. Instead, my mom looked at me and said, "Maybe we can make both work?" Both. Like my wedding was just another event. Like it wasn't supposed to be the most important day of my life. I laughed it off at first. I really did. I thought, maybe they just needed time to realize how ridiculous that sounded. But the more we talked about it, the clearer it became. My sister wasn't planning to change anything. And my parents? They weren't going to ask her to. In fact, they started adjusting around her. What if you move the ceremony earlier? Maybe keep it small? We can come after the party starts. Every suggestion felt like a compromise. But not from them. From me. And suddenly, I felt that same familiar feeling again. The one I had my entire life. Being second. Being flexible. Being understanding. Being the one who adjusts so everyone else stays comfortable. But this time, it was different. Because this wasn't just a dinner. Or a birthday. This was my wedding. And somehow, even on that day, I wasn't the priority. The closer the wedding got, the more everything started to fall apart. At first, it was small things. A cousin texted saying they couldn't make it. Then an aunt. Then a family friend. Each message sounded polite, apologetic. But they all had one thing in common. They were choosing something else over my wedding. And I didn't need to ask what that something else was. I already knew. Because my sister's party? It kept getting bigger. More decorations. More guests. More excitement. People were posting about it, talking about it, planning for it. While my wedding, it felt like an afterthought. Like something people were slowly backing out of. And the worst part wasn't even the cancellations. It was the silence. No one called to check on me. No one asked how I was feeling. No one even acknowledged how wrong this was. It was like everyone had quietly agreed that her night mattered more than mine. The night before my wedding, I finally called my mom. I needed to hear it directly. "Are you coming tomorrow?" I asked. There was a pause, long enough to say everything. "We'll try," she replied softly. Try. That word stayed with me. Because you don't try to come to your daughter's wedding. You either show up or you don't. And in that moment, I realized something painful. They had already made their choice. And it wasn't me. The morning of my wedding, I woke up before the sun. For a few seconds, I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, trying to feel something. Excitement, nervousness, happiness. But instead, all I felt was quiet. Not the peaceful kind. The kind that comes after something breaks. I picked up my phone. No messages from my family. No, good morning. No, we're on our way. Nothing. Just silence. And in that silence, I finally stopped hoping. Daniel noticed at the moment I walked into the room. "You okay?" he asked gently. I nodded, but he didn't believe me. He stepped closer, holding my hands. "We don't have to do this today," he said softly. "We can wait. We can move it. We can do whatever you need." For a second, I almost said yes. Because part of me still wanted that picture-perfect moment. The one where my parents walked in last minute. Where everything magically fixed itself. But then I remembered something. They had already chosen. And I couldn't keep pausing my life, waiting for people who never chose me. So I took a deep breath and shook my head. "No," I said quietly. "We're not delaying our future for people who never showed up for my present." Something in my voice changed. Even I could hear it. It wasn't hurt anymore. It was clarity. We got ready. Walked into that venue, together. And yes, the chairs were still empty. Rows and rows of them. But for the first time, they didn't feel like rejection. They felt like truth. A clear, undeniable reminder of who was actually there for me. And who wasn't. The ceremony was simple. Quiet. But real. Because every word we said, every promise we made, wasn't for an audience. It was for us. And the moment it ended, I made another decision. One that had nothing to do with them. No reception, I told Daniel. We're leaving. No waiting. No explanations. No second chances. Just us. And a new beginning, far away from everything they chose over me, while they were still at the party. Laughing. Dancing. Posting pictures like it was the most important night of their lives. I was somewhere completely different. Far away. The moment we left the venue, we didn't go home. We didn't stay in the city. We went straight to the airport. No announcements. No posts. No one knew. And a few hours later, everything changed. When I stepped out of that car and saw it for the first time, I just stood there. A private villa. Ocean stretching endlessly in front of me. Golden sunset lighting up the sky. Complete silence, in the best way possible. For the first time that day, I smiled. Not a forced smile. A real one. Because while they were celebrating a party, I had just started a life. That night, I didn't post anything. I didn't answer any messages. I just existed in that moment. Free. But the next morning, I did something intentional. I posted one photo. Just one. Me and Daniel, standing together, smiling, completely at peace. The ocean behind us, glowing in the sunlight. Caption: best decision of my life, Red Heart. That's it. No explanation. No details. Within minutes, my phone started blowing up. Messages. Missed calls. Notifications nonstop. Where are you? Is this real? When did you leave? What is this place? Because suddenly, they were paying attention. The same people who didn't show up now couldn't look away. And that's when it hit me. They thought they had missed a wedding. But what they actually missed was the moment I stopped needing them. And the moment I finally chose myself. By the time the sun set on our second day, my phone still hadn't stopped. Missed calls. Voicemails. Long messages filled with apologies. It was overwhelming, but not in the way it used to be. Because this time, I wasn't desperate to reply. I wasn't waiting for their validation. I was just observing. My mom called again. And this time I answered. Her voice was shaky. "We didn't think you'd actually leave like that," she said. There was something in her tone I had never heard before. Uncertainty. Almost fear. I looked out at the ocean before responding. "You didn't think I'd move on?" I asked calmly. Silence. The kind that says more than words ever could. Then came the excuses. "We thought we could celebrate later. It was just one day. Your sister already had everything planned." I closed my eyes for a second. Because that was the problem. It was never just one day. It was every day. Every moment they chose her over me. This was just the first time. I stopped accepting it. My sister texted next. "Don't overreact. We'll do something when you get back." I stared at that message for a long time. And then I realized something. They still didn't understand. They thought this was about a party. A date. A misunderstanding. But it wasn't. It was about value. About being seen. About finally choosing myself after a lifetime of being second. So I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I just put my phone down. Because for the first time, I didn't feel the need to be heard by people who never listened. I didn't go back the same person. Not after that day. Not after everything finally became clear. For so long, I kept waiting for them to choose me. To see me. To value me the way I deserved. But the truth is, they never were going to. And the moment I stopped expecting that, everything changed. I stopped chasing their approval. Stopped shrinking myself to fit into their version of me. Stopped accepting less than I deserved. Because that empty aisle? It didn't break me. It revealed everything. It showed me exactly who was there and who wasn't. And sometimes that's all you need. Not closure. Not apologies. Just clarity. Because the day my family didn't show up was the day I finally did. For myself. And that was the beginning of everything.